Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation following. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, please bless our elected officials. Grant them the wisdom to know and the courage to do what is right for all citizens. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please.
Allen.
Here.
Green.
Here.
LaFour.
Here.
Mistrovich.
Here.
Reindell.
Here.
Ricks.
Here.
Warren.
Here. Good to see everybody here tonight. Approval of minutes for the last city council meeting on June 5th would be in order.
Motion.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Any discussion on those minutes? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to audience comments on any non-agenda items. If anybody would like to address city council on anything that's not on the agenda, we ask that you come to the podium, state your name for the record and your address, and we allow 3 minutes for comments. Anybody like to address?
My name is Ken McMartin. Last fall, I inherited a piece of property next to Timmy. It had our fuel tanks in it from my parents from 70 years. The ground was bad. I talked to DEQ. They told me that I could just leave the piece of property alone and it would be called an orphan property and there'd be I would have no responsibility for whatsoever. It would have just remained a contaminated piece of property in the center of town forever. Anyway, I chose not to do that. I cleaned it up through the inheritance, got cleaned up, and I built a home there. I talked to the city ahead of it. I talked to Jim about bringing water and sewer in, which was normal. Normally, every city brings this water and sewer to the sidewalk, and then it's the builder's responsibility to get it from the sidewalk to wherever the heck they're building it. Well, he told me that there was no sewer and water hookups at that site. They'd never been put in by somebody's neglect back in 1961. There was never any hookups, even though it's been paid taxes on for, well, longer than I know, 70 years. But anyway, so they told me it was my responsibility to put the water and hookups in. I talked to John Moore about it, and I talked to Jim, and they both said they said he came and talked to you guys and said that it wasn't really their city's responsibility to do it because other places have to put it themselves, but other places are subdivisions. They put their own. This is a city lot that's been there forever. That should have been in the street. But anyway, it wasn't. So we came up with an agreement. They wrote me up a quote. They told me it'd be he told me, go quotes, wrote down, hourly, broke down. I have copies of every workman. They gave me the whole quote, and it was $4,300. And then it was $1,000 would be waived if I waited till spring or fall when you guys had your normal patching time, which that would be included. So it'd be like $3,200. I got the quote, $3,200 or $3,300. So the day it started, I got Jim and I took him over to the work site and I asked him, I said, it looks like there's 2 holes here. I said, everything is what you're thinking? And he says, yeah, because we moved the site from one road to another because it would be easier for the city to do it. They said the lines were messed up out in front somewhere. So I put the lines longer for me once it's on the property from where it is. But anyway, they did it. They started on it. And he said, yeah, it would be $1 or $2 or less, but he didn't know for sure. But it'd be close to that quote. So anyway, I continued working on the house myself there, and they worked on it over there. And I didn't hear any more back from anybody. And the next thing, maybe a week later, week and a half, I got a letter in the mail from the city for work for the lot for $5,000. It just says it was more work than they thought, and it was $5,000 instead of the $3,200. It was $5,000. And I talked to Jim, and I said, that isn't what we agreed on, and nobody told me in between at all. I mean, I'm not like I'm very far away. I was 100 feet from where you guys were working. You could have told me that there was going to be more, or this is a problem, or whatever, but I don't know nothing about the city streets. You guys know that. You used your information. I don't know. Anyway, that was my complaint. I said, why is that right? And the word I got back was that It didn't matter. If you don't want to pay it, it'd go on your taxes. And I said, I have got no recourse, I guess. I guess I'm going to come to the city council. And Jim told me he didn't know exactly it would be within a dollar or two. And I said, I can understand it's not within a dollar or two. That's not, but if something's going to be more, considerably more, you call the customer and ask them, or say, hey, there's more, we found problems. I tear up houses, and sometimes there's something in the wall that I can't tell. And I'd call them up and say, hey, look, this is in here. I got to do something with asbestos, I got to do this, I got to do that. It's going to cost more. What do you want to do? But I didn't get any of that. I just got a bill in the mail that said, you're going to pay the taxes, it's going to be on your taxes, you're paying it. Anyway, that's my deal. I could have left the property contaminated and walked away from it. It would have been, Timmy's no different, but I mean, nobody wants that in their backyard. It would have been there forever. It would have been no tax base, because it would have been no tax, I wouldn't have owned it anymore. You guys have took it away, I guess, because no taxes. You'd have owned it. And it's a nice piece of property right in town. It's a lot better to have a nice new, brand new house on it for tax base and start paying that on it and help the community. That's what I thought. And I absorbed a pretty good bit of money to clean it up. That wasn't your bill, it was all mine. It was my family's, they used it to make money. I probably inherited some of that, so that's my deal. I clean it up. I'm just trying to be fair. I think it's legit. Even if the $3,000 isn't right, because the city should have done that. But if they didn't, I'm willing to compromise on it, but don't screw me again on it. Don't turn around and say, hey, it's more again. After I don't even know. There's my 3 minutes. I don't know. I've been rehearsing it for a while. It's pretty easy to understand. Any questions? What I'm asking to do is I'm asking to pay the quote. It'll be like $3,200. I have the check for it. I haven't paid it, but I will. But they had told me that there was a 30-day deal on it. If it wasn't, they were going to raise another 10% on the $5,000. And that's today or tomorrow or something.
Okay.
So here, that's where I'm at. That's my deal.
All right. Thanks, Ken.
Sure, Timmy.
City Council, do you want to refer this to the administration for a report back to City Council, or whatever?
Yeah, I think we
Think
need
so.
more information and more detail on what all transpired and
Okay.
everything.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, if we would, John.
Put a report
That's what we're
together
going to do.
for.
City Council's requested.
That's pretty straightforward. Jim will tell you he was there.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to find out, the city side of it now, that we've heard your side. They'll make a report back to us on what's going on, and then we'll issue a statement on that. Yeah. All right, thank
Thanks for
you.
coming.
Thank you.
Anybody else? You ladies are here for the agenda. Okay, moving on. Adoption of agenda, Mr. City Manager, any changes?
No changes, but I did place a new motion for item number 5.
No, I'm sure we're going to get a copy of that.
I need a bunch.
Yeah, well, if you want to hand them over, sure.
And with the clerk, and if you
Yeah,
hand
we'll
the
take
clerk.
them.
Oh,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Changes, Mr. City Manager? Just a motion on the table?
Just the changed motion on number 5, I missed adding the members to the committee.
Okay. And City Council, any changes? Motion to accept the agenda as presented be in order?
Make a motion?
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. There's no discussion on the consent agenda. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to items for consideration this evening. We have 6 of them. The first one being consideration of special event request from St. Augustine's for a 3K race. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to give consideration on a request from St. A's Parish for a proposed 3K charity race event on Saturday, August 12th, from 11:30 to 12:45 p.m. The event is being added in the hopes of encouraging more community members and people from the surrounding area to come and support the church and their parish festival. The 3K race will be run entirely on city streets, primarily south and east of the railroad tracks and Main Street. There is a course map that was provided along with the letter and the special event application. And I believe the organizers are here tonight. If you have any questions, the only comment that administration had, I think they've done a nice job. They've met with us and we kind of gave them some suggestions on staying off of Main Street if at all possible. That always helps with traffic flow. Similar to what the organizers of the Romeo to Richmond race did when they moved the 5K onto the city streets versus the trail, we would encourage the church to mail out letters to the homeowners. That way they have a heads up that day that their street's going to be closed for a short period of time there. The city can certainly work with them to get them some labels through the assessing and planning departments. It's probably easier for us to find that if they want to mail them out. Otherwise, they can go, walk them door to door. We'll work with them on whichever works best for them.
Very good. Would you like to make any other presentation to council? You're good? Okay. Everybody loves to jump up and address the city council. We give you the option. Is there a motion before discussion?
I make a motion to approve the special event application from St. Augustine Parish for the 2017 3K charity race event on Saturday, August 12, 2017, and to allow the closure of Gleason Street from Main to Chaskey, Chaskey Street from Gleason to George, George Street from Chaskey to Girk, Girk Street from George to Gleason, and Franklin Street from Gleason to Howard, from approximately 11:15 a.m. to 12:45 p.m., subject to the following conditions. The applicant shall mail letters explaining the race and the street closure to all the affected residents.
Support.
Motion been made and support. Any discussion?
I guess, Mr. Mayor, I do have a question with the letter. Are we going to advise those residents, because I'm assuming that some people would want to get out of their driveway, that they have an alternate place to park at a time? Or
Well, like with the letter for the 5K, we just advise them when the closure would be and let them make their own arrangements. Certainly, there's on-street parking on Main Street and
Right.
and Grand Trunk and Forest. And that's part of doing the letter. Then they can contact the organizers. Sometimes, there might be somebody with a doctor's appointment, and maybe they can work with the organizers to, hey, I need to sneak out, if at all possible, or, but I know with like the other races we've had, we haven't provided like a alternative, but we can certainly work with them on the letter to say, hey, here's some parking areas that you may not have thought of.
And we haven't had any problems with that, right? No.
When we do the Romeo to Richmond, when they do the 5K there, is that, I can't remember, is that posted no parking all the way down Parker to Ridge to the track?
We do, yes.
Now, that would be, that'd be kind of a concern of mine, that are we still allowing on-street parking?
We really hadn't talked to the organizers about that on that.
Yeah, that's a concern. I thought about it.
Certainly, we can put that in the letter and put up some signs as well,
Yeah.
if council would prefer that. at least.
Yeah, I think that's, otherwise, I mean, we're talking all ages? Yeah, I mean, you could have a group of kids out there and,
somebody pulls out, yeah.
yeah, somebody pulls out on them, they don't know enough to get out of the way, I mean, as far as thinking that the road's closed. So we might have to go a little farther than just notifying the
Sure,
residents,
sure.
maybe make it safe.
Yeah, we can do the, good use for our new piece of equipment over at the DPW.
Were we gonna shut down South Forest coming into town then? Would we be shutting that down since we're shutting Gert?
That'd probably be safest.
Yeah.
It's not
The problem
included.
is it's in the township.
Yeah.
I mean, we can shut off at Troutman's house, I think is where the pavement starts is.
I apologize, you're talking shutting where, Forest?
South Forest.
Gleason down at
Yeah,
South
Gleason.
Forest.
Oh, Gleason,
South Forest.
okay.
At South
Yeah,
Forest.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, okay.
Not South Forest itself.
No,
No,
Okay,
no.
just
Direct
the-
traffic.
direct traffic to
Yeah, directly away
Forest.
from Gleason.
Yep, we can,
And Howard is still going to be open, correct? So if people needed to, would they be able to park at the church parking lot right there? So they could get in and out?
From Gleason to Howard, yeah.
into the parking lot, but it will be Franklin side on Howard. Okay, so they can still access it from Main Street onto Howard into the parking lot.
Mhm.
That was a concern that we had at our festival meeting as well, so that's
So-
how we arranged it.
We'll just shut off at the,
Curve.
I'm down south end of town, so I gotta think about my direction. So would that be the west entrance to the parking lot of the school?
South.
Yes, southwest or west, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct. Yeah,
Crow flies.
Yeah, as a crow flies.
correct.
So if that would be shut off right there,
Yep, we can certainly drop some barricades off, and then all the organizers have to do is set them up that morning. Yep.
good.
And we'll do the same at Gleason and Forest, so somebody can just kind of go down to there, and like I said, we'll have the sawhorse style barricades. You'll just put them up when the race starts and drop them. Yep.
Okay, so it doesn't affect our businesses. That's still open there
It really,
for the
yeah.
tire shop and the parking lot behind the Main Street businesses.
I think right at the start it will, but much like the Romeo to Richmond race, once they start, they're not coming all the way back.
Open right up again.
Okay,
So maybe Main Street will never
so
be
the start's gonna
closed.
be at Main and
Gleason.
Gleason.
And Gleason, right.
Okay.
But once they start, they're not coming back past
Franklin.
Franklin. So, you know, once they go,
Right,
that'll
so then
be
back to
opened up.
Gleason
Yeah.
onto Franklin.
So then would the barricade
well,
be
that's a
moved
good-
then from,
Yeah,
as soon as they go, when they get past, then it would move down
right.
to, yeah, to Franklin?
So everybody's gonna start at the same time, the race?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's something I think we're gonna have to look at, is the tire shop. That's, I think, normally a big day at the tire shop. If we close that off,
I can have them stop in and talk to them and see if there's any issues and report back to me.
yeah, talk to Bob and see how you guys can work that out, so he can,
We're gonna close it for like 5 minutes, probably,
yeah.
just to start the race, and then we'll move the barricade down to where Franklin.
Second barricade there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
We don't have to move it.
Yeah.
Anything else, council?
I appreciate all the thought you've put into this.
If you made it a 2K, I would have ran it.
Really?
Okay, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. We hope for good weather. Thank you. Good luck. Item number 2 is consideration of introduction and first reading of ordinance number 156-1, rezoning of 35-600 Division Road, known as the Van Haverbeck property. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to give introduction and first reading to ordinance 156-19, which will amend the official zoning map and rezone approximately .43 acres of property from public, semi-public to downtown business. This rezoning is part of a ongoing code enforcement effort between the property owner and the city. It went to the Planning Commission at their last Planning Commission meeting earlier in June. It was approved there and forwarded to the city council, and the new zoning is compatible with the properties towards Main Street from this. It's often commonly either referred to as the mayor mentioned, the Van Haverbeck property, or the house next to the bus garage. So it's an effort to kind of clean up that property, and this is part of the of that effort.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll
Make
make
a
a
motion.
motion. Go ahead.
I make a motion to introduce and give first reading to ordinance 156-19, which amends the official zoning map and changes the zoning of property located at 35600 Division Road from public, semi-public to B2, which is downtown business.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Any discussion? This item has been long waiting by the city council and administration to come to fruition, and hopefully it will be before September 1st, before school starts, hopefully. We will see the house down and the property put into commercial use, if any. So, another big step for us to rid ourselves of a not only a safety issue for our people, but also to eliminate a very, very blighted home in our community on our quest to eliminate those sites in our town. So, thank the administration for working this all out, and hope we can get on with the second reading at the next meeting. Comments? Being none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. The audience has left us, so I will not be going to the audience. Item number 3 is consideration of approving the Smart Fiscal Year 2018 Municipal Credit and Community Credit Contract. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to approve the Smart Municipal Credit and Community Credit Contracts for fiscal year 2018. The contract reflects council's request to fund the Richmond Lennox EMS Community Transit Program with the funds that the city receives from SMART. This upcoming year, the city will receive $16,274 in municipal and community credits, which is the same amount we received last year.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Smart Municipal Credit and Community Credit Contract fiscal year 2018 and agree to transfer the amounts of $5,662 in municipal credits and $10,612 in community credits to Richmond Lennox EMS and payment for their community transit service.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Any discussion on this? Outstanding service for our residents. Just continues to get better. I believe that it's expanded into Saturday now, this past year. So there was a time when we didn't have this and people were screaming for it, and it's just evolved over the years into an excellent service for us. We thank SMART for the funds and also thank Richmond Lennox EMS for providing that service. Any other comments? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We move on to item number 4, consideration of the adoption of fiscal year 2017-18 city fee schedule. Mr. City Manager.
Council is scheduled to consider adopting the fiscal year 2017-18 city fee schedule. There are changes for the upcoming fiscal year's fee schedule in the building department, cemetery, police department, recreation, and the water department. All of the fees increases were included in the different departmental submittals for the budget workshops, with the exception of the recreation department. And during our discussions, we realized that all of our rental facilities such as the pavilion, gazebo, those sorts of things all have a resident and non-resident fee, and so the community center was the one exception to that. So in looking at that, we felt it was important to put that non-resident fee into that facility as well to kind of make it the same across the board. I've gone over that with the rec director and she's in approval of that. And so with that, the fee schedule is there for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there a motion before discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the City of Richmond fiscal year 2017-2018 fee schedule as presented by the city manager.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Any discussion on this?
Yes, I just have one question. With the community center non-resident fee, were non-residents able to rent? Okay, I didn't think for some reason I didn't think they were, and I thought now this was allowing it. Okay. Full in agreement then.
Any other comments, questions? City Council's discussed this thoroughly during the budget workshops. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Moving on to item number 5 is consideration of the formation of a personnel committee. Mr. City Manager?
Council is scheduled to consider forming a personnel committee to review the employee compensation in general and possible changes to the non-affiliated personnel policies. Over the years, council and the personnel board have adopted a wage scale for various levels of the non-affiliated personnel, including departmental directors, seasonal cemetery workers, and part-time police officers. As we've gone through the economic downturn, we really haven't reviewed this in a very long time, and quite frankly, several of the key positions in our department directors have changed. You know, some have gone from full-time to part-time, some have been combined with other department directors, then split back apart. Others have gone from full-time to part-time back to full-time, and so probably need to look at, making sure that all of the compensation we provide to the non-affiliated are in line with the jobs and that are being done. And so I thought the best way to do that, and discussed it with council during the budget workshops, was the formation of a committee. And this is the item that I did place a new motion on the table for you. My original motion neglected to put in appointing people to the committee, and it just established it.
Thank you. If council would like to move from the normal policy that we have of making a motion before discussion, or is somebody ready to make a motion? Council's pleasure. Conversation. If that's what council wants to do, if they want.
Yes, let's talk.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, then let's talk. We were talking when we had our meeting Friday at 4 o'clock for the city manager evaluation committee. We were talking, we had to cancel a meeting, and we were able to get back together again in 2 days because our schedules kind of hit with each other as far as when we get back into town or whatever. And we were talking about we would stay on as this committee if the council wanted to. And Dennis and Mike agreed that they would do that to research this a little more. We evidently, between the three of us, have a very good ability to turn and twist our schedules a little bit to be able to get together. So it seemed to work well for us. Usually it takes, we all know, it usually takes us a month to go through a calendar to find out who can get together, when we can get together, and da-da-da-da-da. So we offered that to the council, I believe, gentlemen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they changed their minds over the weekend or not. But we'd be willing to do that if council so wished. Does anybody else want to serve on that? That's up for discussion. Whatever you want to do.
Ready for a motion?
Yep.
I'll move to establish a personnel committee to review employee compensation, non-affiliated personnel policies with an ending date of December 31st, 2017, and appoint the following counselors to the committee: Mayor Ricks, Mayor Pro Tem Stravich, and Councilor LaFour.
Support. It's been made and supported. Any discussion?
Thank you for doing that.
Yep, I agree. Thank you.
Like I said, we just were talking, and it worked out great. And we got a computer expert here that helped so much on doing it, tallying the.
Who, Dennis?
Yeah. Well, he's a lot better than I am, I'm sure. Just about anybody here is. But Mike did a great job for the committee to combine everything on the city manager's evaluation. You know how much there is there to do. And, that worked out great. And then we just seemed to get it together pretty quick once we got all the things in. So, and we were able to meet pretty quick. So we just said we'd continue on if council so wish. So I appreciate the motion. As well as I'm sure these guys want more meetings to go to.
Yeah.
But we do have a tendency of being able to get together right away at 4 o'clock, 4:15, to get things done. So it seems like, because I think we all agree we need to address this.
Absolutely.
We need to get this taken care of sooner than later for our employees, and which includes the city manager. So anyhow, any other discussion, comments?
Just one comment also, that when we were having the discussion too, that we realized that each of us outside of the city council have some responsibilities with personnel, whether it's negotiations or dealing with personnel matters or job duties and looking at wages and that sort of thing. So I think we'll be able to bring in kind of some of those outside skills to this committee.
Anything else? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Item number 6, consideration of scheduling a council quarterly workshop meeting. Mr. City Manager.
Council is being asked to schedule its next quarterly roundtable meeting. The roundtable meetings are normally scheduled for the months of January, April, July, and October. and are designed to allow council to get into more depth on various issues. As we discussed, I think after the last council meeting, everyone was very comfortable with how the budget workshops flowed, with having them the same night as a regular meeting. The motion in your background brief is correct. The second meeting in July will be the 17th. Up in the background brief, it mentions the 19th, but it'd be the second meeting in July, which is the 17th of July.
Thank you. Again, does council want to go to a motion right away, or do we want to have discussion before?
Good.
Everybody good? Okay, the motion be in order then.
I'll make a motion to schedule the special quarterly roundtable meeting for the city council on Monday, July 17, 2017, at the city hall, beginning immediately following the regular council meeting scheduled for this date.
Support.
Most been made and supported. Any discussion on this?
Mr. Mayor, yes, I think this is great, especially since we're going to the summer schedule where we have the council meetings at 6 o'clock, so that gives us plenty of time, depending on the agenda, of course, to meet and have a good discussion.
We also talked, I think this was wherever we were, workshop meeting or wherever we were, we talked about the possibility if we didn't have enough time after the meeting to finish all of our workshop, we could always go into another workshop. We don't have to wait 3 months from now or 4 months from now to have another quarterly workshop. So hopefully we can get done whatever it is we need to work on before it ever comes to the table at that meeting. But if not, we always have that possibility of meeting again. Any other discussion on this? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. On to city comments. City manager comments, sir.
Just thank the police and fire departments for their help with the fireworks demonstration in the park this Saturday. Everything went well. And then, as the mayor mentioned earlier, just a reminder to council and to the public listening that our council meetings in July and August begin at 6 p.m.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to council comments. Michael?
No, nothing tonight.
Dennis?
Just want to congratulate the girls softball team for taking second, and it was a heartbreaker, but I think they need to realize that the community is very proud of them and very happy with their accomplishments and all they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
They should-
And the shotgun team, I'm
Yeah,
not sure what
they're-
they call that.
Yep, the
Trap team. Your son's on that,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yeah, and they did very
Saving
well.
that for Rob.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Rob.
They, trap team finished third
In the state.
in the state out of 22 teams and over 400 shooters.
Mhm.
And they put 5 kids on the all-state team.
Oh,
So-
very good.
Very happy, very pleased with the second-year program.
Yeah,
They finished within 7 birds of first place.
really.
Yeah, which
Wow.
was Fenton, so.
Amazing.
Big things on the horizon, young team, and big things on the horizon for them.
You know, I'd like to add to that, Rob. One of our residents, Megan Mish,
Yes.
she ended up taking first place.
First in the girls' division for her conference, yeah.
Yeah, outstanding.
Yeah, she-
Outstanding.
Very well done.
Yeah, 8th grader.
8th
Right?
grade. No.
Or no, I'm sorry, she's a
Megan's a-
freshman going to be a sophomore.
Right.
That's right. I still think of her much younger than that, but yeah, very good.
Yeah, we had 2 of our boys, one 7th grader, one 8th grader, that made that all-state team.
Yeah.
Too, so that was
Wow.
young blood in the sport, which is good, and so.
Absolutely. Very good. Very good. John?
Oh, already been covered.
Yeah? Yeah?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Jamie?
Just want to comment on the park. It's looking fantastic now that everything is starting to open up. The new sidewalk looks great. It turned out really nice. The grass is already coming in. And the full court basketball is being used quite a bit, and it's great. And I love seeing there's multi-generation there too. You get from older guys to even little guys. So dads and sons and teenagers and everybody. It's
Good.
really neat to see.
Good. I've been over there a lot with Little League, but I park out in the far back because the kids usually always are
Right,
playing
on
in the
B.
back diamond, so I don't get to go through
Yeah.
there to see that. So it's, what, did they line it
Yeah, no, not really. They
It's
just
not
put
lined
two.
It's not lined yet.
No.
The lines are, that are on
There are lines,
some-
but I don't think they're legit.
Yeah,
Well, I
lines.
saw those lines.
Yeah, they're left over from Camp Richmond a year ago.
There aren't scheduled to be
Dodge
line
roll.
though.
Yeah, we're looking to, when we do the next striping contract
Uh-huh.
in town, they'll go and stripe the court.
Okay, great.
So
Yeah,
we'll-
it's funny, Jamie, you brought that. We left the Good Old Days meeting Wednesday, and we're standing in front of the barn and looking over at Bailey Park with all the improvements, and as if you took before and after picture, wow,
Oh, yeah.
what a change.
Yeah.
It's great. Ball
absolutely.
diamonds,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Tennis courts.
A lot
yeah.
of pride in that.
A lot of positive change.
Yes.
I should make sure I say that.
Very good. Anything else, Jamie?
Nope, got it. Thank you.
Already got you right?
Yep.
I kind of went the other way tonight, you know?
That's fine.
So, anyhow, let's go to the calendar. Today being the 19th of June, the first day of summer, believe it or not, is the 21st in 2 days. The brass band will be playing at 7 o'clock over at BB Park. That is put on by Senior Helpers at 7 o'clock on the 22nd. The Log Cabin Days at the Historical Society area there in Bailey Park will be from 12 to 3 on the 25th. And Tifa will meet on the 28th at 7 o'clock here at City Hall. It takes us into July, and City Hall will be open on the 3rd and the 5th. It will be closed only on the 4th, as well as the community center and the library will be closed only on the 4th. And the city council's next regular meeting will be at 6 o'clock on July 5th, right here at City Hall. Recreation Board will also be meeting at 6 o'clock. And also remember, council, that is the night of a pool walk, if we care to, after the meeting with the Recreation Board, to take a look at the pool house especially. And that's it. Is there anything else we need to add to the calendar tonight? Being not, we have 2 closed sessions this evening. The first one will be for collective bargaining, and the second one will be for the city manager's evaluation as requested by the city manager. We're going to need 2 separate motions to go into those closed sessions. So we would accept those motions at this time.
I'll make a motion to convene into closed session in accordance with Section 8C of the Michigan Opens Meetings Act, Public Act 267 of 1976, as amended for strategy negotiation sessions connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement if either party requests closed hearing.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there any discussion on this motion? Being not, roll call, please.
Green,
Yes.
LaFour,
Yes.
Mistravich.
Yes.
Rydell.
Yep.
Ricks.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Motion passes. We also need the motion to go into closed session for the city manager evaluation.
I make a motion to convene into closed session in accordance with Section 8 of the Michigan Open Meetings Act, Public Act 267 of 1976, as amended for the purpose of considering a periodic personnel evaluation of the city manager as requested by the city manager.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Is there any discussion on this? Being not, roll call, please.
LaFour,
Yes.
Mistravich.
Yes.
Rydell.
Yes.
Ricks. Warren.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll go into closed session. The motion to reconvene into open session. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to reconvene into open session.
Support.
Been made and supported. Any discussion on the motion? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. We're in open session. We move on to other business. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'll make a motion to add the following 2 items into other business. Number 1, Teamsters negotiations, and number 2, city manager evaluation.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Items that we just talked about in closed session? Being not, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Mr. Mayor, were we
Yes.
going to do that as a roll call?
Roll call?
I thought.
Okay, we can do that.
Mistravich.
Yes.
Rydell.
Yes.
Ricks.
Yes.
Warren.
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
LaFour.
Motion does pass. Okay, so the first one is contract negotiations with Teamsters. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the wage and insurance reopener for the contract years 2017, 2018, and 2018 and 2019 with the Teamsters Local 214 as agreed to in the letter.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there any discussion on this? Glad to see that we could come to an agreement with the employees, and good job, Mr. City Manager and staff on that. Bringing that around quickly. I think it was a win-win.
Yes.
Anything else?
Yes, sir.
All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion does pass. Second item is the city manager evaluation. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the annual city manager evaluation with a score of 3.62 out of 4.0, which is effective to very effective. Furthermore, the city manager evaluation committee will recommend to the city council a compensation adjustment at a later date.
Support.
What's been made and supported? Any discussion? As chair of the city manager evaluation committee, would you like to make a comment? Michael?
Yeah, just as being a member of the evaluation committee, we had, the three of us got together, Councilor LaFour and Mayor Ricks, and went through the evaluations that each of the individual councilors put together, compiled the results, put the comments together so that you could all review them tonight in the closed session. And just want to say that, you know, the consensus or the average of the council is that John is doing a great job for us. And we want him to continue to do that and continue to stay with us for the foreseeable future, long future, hopefully, at that as well. So thanks to the committee for working on this. Thanks to everything that you do, John, as a city manager, not only that, but leading the ship here in the city and working with your department directors and staff to make sure that Richmond is a great place to live. You take on a lot more than you need to. But that's part of why we're working so well here in Richmond. So keep it up, and look forward to having this same discussion next year.
Any other comments? Well said, Michael.
It's well said.
And just thank you to the committee and the council for the evaluation and input back to me on what to work on this next year. I just want to mention that I'm very appreciative of the team that the council has with administration and how well you work with us, and also thank the staff. It's just a great community to work in, and I hope to continue working here for many years to come.
Very good. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Okay, we move on to adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
What's been made and supported? There is no discussion on adjournment motion. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion passes. Great meeting tonight, city council and city manager and staff. Thank you.